Now I'm sitting in my chambers one day up at juvenile court and knock, knock, knock on the door, and it was Linda Lilovic and Jana Hyde, who are two attorneys in the dependency cases, who walked in and said, "Judge, we want a family treatment court." They didn't mince words. They didn't beg and plead. They were really clear. They had been to a conference. They had heard what could happen with family treatment court. We already had a juvenile drug court. We already had an adult drug court on downtown. Family treatment court was the next logical step. But it is a big step from an idea to bringing it to pass. So we started meeting, as you know I love to do. We brought all the parties together, all sides of all stakeholders involved in dependencies were brought together. The AG, the department, the social workers, the defense attorneys, service providers, we all started coming together at 7:30 in the morning, my favorite time to meet. At first I thought no one would come, and when we opened the doors, the room was full because there was that much interest and energy around this project. So we got together, we planned, we talked, we discussed, we developed a prototype. And let me just give special credit to Michael Curtis, who was our staff person at the time. Without staff, you can't make this happen. We got ready to go. We did a pilot with Judge Inveen to see how that would work, and she ran it through the adult drug court with a few families to see if it would work, and it seemed to have positive outcomes. So we went forward. We were ready to get started with no money. And then we heard we had an opportunity for a grant. Michael Curtis actually almost single-handedly wrote this grant with the help of the other collaborators. We got it in, we were approved, and there was a catch. We had to wait. I think it was 6 months to a year while we toured other treatment courts around the country to get exposure and to understand the real nuances of family treatment courts. First I was discouraged, but then it turned out that it was a good bonding experience for the team because we really were going to be working across our previous boundaries and missions, all right? So for example, the AG would be talking to the defense attorneys not in an adversarial manner, but in a collaborative manner. And we would all be around the same table talking about a family with one goal in mind, which was for this family to succeed. And above all of that, there would be no arguments in the courtroom, which is very different from any model we'd had before. Once the staffings were done, then the judge would be the only one voice in that courtroom, which is really different. So we went on these many trips. We went to Florida, we went to Alabama, we went to Kansas City, we went a number of places. And through that process, we created our own form of drug court. Many places ran drug court, our family treatment court, with only women. And we decided fairly early on that we would, at least at that point, consider men. As you now know, we have families in. We have mom and dad, and sometimes mom and dad and the kids. Many jurisdictions ran drug court and the dependency process separately, so that you were on a drug court track over here that didn't have anything to do with your dependency hearings. We combined them. So we've done many things different than other jurisdictions. But this is probably one of the things I'm most proud of from my time on the juvenile court bench is this family treatment court. It has changed the way I think many of us view the families who come before us. And I like to tell the time when my epiphany occurred. I'm doing treatment court, and I get off the bench and walk across the hall to do the families are having a potluck, and I'm going over to join them. And when I opened that door, it hit me that I was no longer looking at participants in the program. I wasn't looking at defendants. I wasn't looking at dependency parents. I was looking at families. And they were laughing and they were holding their children. They were feeding them. They were taking care of them. And that changes the way you operate once you acknowledge that they are families. And families have a right to try to survive. And that's what we do in our family treatment court. I am very proud of it. I am also very proud of the fact that it has survived. It has survived 10 years. We've been through multiple shifts in judicial officers. We've been through shifts in the personnel, the staff that are around the teams, but the concept continues. And it's one that we are able to sustain over time. I am very, very pleased.